actually live.
Okay.
So if there's anybody out there that's watching that's seen the event, so of course they're hearing what we're going on right now. So
I hope you don't mind I ask a quick question. So this is the problem I had the 2 times I did it. If there is somebody that's watching, how do they get in? Like, do I have to invite them, or how do they?
that I'm not 100% sure on yet. So that's why we're going to play it by the cuff today.
Fair enough. Because after I got off both of those times, there were people like you were trying to get in one time, or maybe even twice, and I didn't know because I was on here talking either to myself or with people. But oh well.
Yep. Oh, I know. It was the day you were doing the coil. I was trying to get on with you, and of course, then I don't know if I was going the right way with it or not, but yeah, it was pretty crazy. I have just walked in the house. Of course, if anything could go wrong on the morning, I'm trying to get some crap done. It's going to go today, so you're going to have to excuse me just for a sec.
That's fine, man. Do what you got to do.
How's everything been going?
Fantastic. I can't complain.
Good deal. Good deal. That was a great build last night, man. I love the nickel one. Yes.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
I've been getting into the temperature control stuff, and of course, I've been strictly doing it on tanks, but just something about having to mess with nickel wire, man, as flimsy as it is, but you made it look like it was nothing, so.
Oh, thank you. I've been playing around with it for a month, and I can't tell you how much of that stuff I mangled, and so. But thank you for the compliment, because it's been a while working with that stuff to make it look easy. But and then for me, the jury is still out whether I even like temperature control or not, whether it's worth bothering with. But I've got these box mods, and I've got these devices, and I've got all these coils, so I figured I might as well. And you know, and while I'm doing all these tanks and everybody's coming out with all these nickel coils, well, let me go see if dripping with nickel wire is worthwhile. And it's not my cup of tea. I mean, my cup of tea is that, with a big fat build, with a couple of solid good batteries, and just rock it. So, but there's folks that don't like to vape that way, and I will say this: there's a lot of flavor qualities and flavor notes in the juice that we vape every day that I'm not noticing when I vape like this. It's gone. It's just not noticed. It's too hot, and the subtleties are gone, and you get that with nickel. But other than that, I can live without it. I can live without it.
Well, like I said, I do enjoy the like this particular tank. This is the Freemax Star. Man, this is like one of the best sub-ohm tanks out on the market. So if you can ever get your hands on one of these, definitely try it. But I run this with the Atlantis coils in it, and because at the time, well, as of the present, they don't make nickel coils for this. But dude, this thing freaking rocks with the nickel on it. And if you go with the regular coils to it, like the 0.25s, shit, they say you can get up to about 100 watts out of them, but when I do it, it's a little too warm at those temperatures, so, or those wattages. But
cool. No, I haven't tried the Freemax Star, but I'm looking forward to it. There's so many sub-tanks out there, and they're all great. They all have their personalities.
Oh, definitely. Uh-oh.
I've got quite an assortment of them.
I see.
but you know, just like friends. Sometimes you feel like hanging out with this friend on a particular day, and you miss that sense of humor or that whatever, and or you got those things to talk about that you have in common. All of my vaping stuff feels like that. They have their personalities. They're like each individual friends.
Yes, sir. Well, we kind of started pretty quick on this one. If you don't mind me, and this is going to be strictly because with this showing up on my page, I know my subscribers want to know. Won't you tell me a little bit about you? Because I know my subscribers will definitely want to know about you, son.
Okay, cool. Thank you. Daryl Shergan. I'm 43, and I started vaping back in October. On my birthday, actually, I went into a vape shop and I said, look, I'm a pack and a half a day smoker. I've been smoking for 26 years. If this stuff can work for other people, maybe it can work for me. Here's money. Just hook me up. And I got a Kangaroo EVOD. and and then every other day after that, for a couple of weeks, I was going into a different vape shop, asking different questions because I didn't want to look like a fool at the same shop. And I went through variable voltage, twist this, MVP that, Nautilus Mini, Nautilus. Let me try the Kangers, the arrows. And I was just like, am I doing this wrong? I was frying coils. And I started watching videos, and then, okay, now I started learning. And it took me about 6 weeks to get to dripping, but then I went to dripping. I got a mech mod, I got batteries, and I started building coils. And that was like really the reason I went to dripping was I wanted to be able to sit down at a vape shop, not try their testers. I wanted to take the juice and put it in my own gear with my own saliva and not have to worry about these little plastic condoms. And I wanted to see what this flavor tasted because I would buy juice. I didn't know what I liked and what I didn't. So I just buy 5 juice flavors, go home, put it in a tank, and then, gee, it tasted good in the shop, and I hate it now. And I chuck that and waste 5 mils of juice and then fill another tank. And it was a journey. It was a progression. And then and there was a couple of times when one time I did go out and buy a pack of cigarettes, and because my EVOD didn't work, it was flooding, and then I didn't want to go back to smoking. So I just like when I started doing videos, all I wanted to do was talk about the things I experienced when I was brand new in vaping, because I knew down the road when I get experienced and I know what I'm doing, I'm going to forget how frustrating it was in the beginning.
Oh, yeah.
So some of what I do is geared towards new vapors and what they can expect, what they are experiencing, and the frustration of it. That's why I got into like the dangers of sub-ohm vaping, because people were doing things stupidly around me, and I would ask advice, and I would get wrong advice and go home and do something dumb. And I didn't realize how dangerous that could be. So I wasn't doing that as a scare shock value thing. I was like, hey, listen, know what you're doing. Pull up rapid tables, pull up, an ohm calculator, that kind of stuff. But as far as me personally, I'm a banker. I was in the mortgage industry for close to 20 years. Now I have my own funding company. I'm self-employed. I'm my own boss. So I don't work hourly. So I do have some time to spend. And I have a passion for vaping because I smoked for 26 years. And I literally thought every day I was going to wake up and discover, okay, how's my health today? Where's the tumor? Okay, wow, today I don't notice any symptoms. But I literally believe that, like, I had a death sentence and it was coming, and every day I was going to be handed that death sentence. Like, where's the tumor going to be in my body? And I don't feel that way anymore. So that's what vaping did.
Well, thanks for that, man. Oh, excuse me. Well, I guess just to kind of give my little background, I'm Scott Taylor. I'm right outside of Memphis, Tennessee. And it's funny to say because I just turned 43 myself last week, so we're on the same track here. But I was a smoker for 27 years. I started out on the Cowboy Killers and then progressed into smoking Marlboro Lights forever. But I was close to a 2.5 pack a day. And what's funny about that is that was in the beginning for me. I started and it was like, bam, it just took off of me. It was smoking like a train. And then I eventually backed off. So when I finally quit, which was almost 2 years ago, I was right at roughly close to a pack a day. I'll tell you what, during the week, it was less than a pack each day. But like when the weekends would hit, have a little bit more time, it was easy to go a pack, maybe a little bit more. So just whatever. But I had a guy up at work. I got one sitting right here. I think I was messing with you the other day. Guy was walking around, had one of these right here. I was like, dang, that's pretty sharp right there. He told me where he got it, and like I thought about it a little bit, and then I went up to my local vape shop, went in there, they hooked me up. I had just bought a brand new pack of cigarettes, and to this day, it still sits there in my truck. That's my little That's my little thing of saying, hey, I kicked your ass right there, but I'm not going to pick you back up. But so I started off on that, and what's so funny is I went with something like that for probably a year and a half.
Oh.
It's only been roughly since January since I've jumped into doing my first setup was this right here, bigger setup.
Okay. Is that a Vamo?
No, that is actually the SVD 2.0.
Oh, okay.
So that had the Evolve DNA 20 in it, and that was my Nautilus Mini. So that was my first kind of big boy tank, but not sub-ohm yet. So, and it's so funny. I don't even know, man. I don't have a battery in it, but
yeah, but back in the time when that was out, that was the shit right there. That was
exactly.
like the height. I remember seeing videos from Indoor Smokers, and he had that, and I was like, wow, I got to get one of those.
To be honest with you, when I seen that, that's about one of the first places I seen it on, was him having it. I was like, oh shit, I got to have it. So, so progressed into that, and then it was kind of like at a point that wasn't doing it for me anymore. And then what turned into getting off cigarettes and thinking I was using this as my tool to get off cigarettes turned into a hobby. And it was like, you know what? I love vaping. I enjoy doing it. It's a great hobby, and it's just kind of ventured in from there. So, but yeah, I've acquired a decent amount of stuff, and it's probably every week I keep acquiring more. So, but like I think I told you the other day, I'm more into the tanks than the rebuildable stuff. And there's something every time I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna buy a kit. I'm going to just start doing it, the hell with it. But I don't know what's holding me back from doing it, but I got to start because I want to do everything in this. So.
Yeah, man. I mean, good tanks like exist on the market now weren't around when I started. I only started back in October. It's only been 9 months. But the best of what was out there on the market at the time was the Nautilus from Aspire, and then Kenger had a line with the Air Omega, might have been like that, and the Giant and those, and they weren't cheap. They were 50, 60, 70 bucks, depending on where you got them. So I just figured, hey, listen, if I'm going to go and do a tank like that and invest in that, and then I'm locked into that experience, why don't I just try this dripping where it looks like for 20, 25 bucks I can get a dripper and then just build and practice. But it's worth it, and you really then start to tweak how you like to vape, how hot you like it, the airflow where you want it, and I wanted more control over what I was doing. Also, I noticed like the coils, the way they come pre-made, there's still somebody else making them, and I just wanted to do, okay, let me get this stainless steel wire or this Kanthal wire and organic cotton, and then that's it. And there's nothing else going on, nothing else involved, no manufacturing process. It just seemed simpler to me. So it's a little bit of effort building those coils, but you get that anybody can do it. It's really not that hard.
Well, like I said, what I like to do too is get online and try to find somebody that, because a lot of people that do the videos have been making coils for a while, and there's an aspect to it that they'll leave out. Like they'll do something real quick, and it's like, whoa, 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 what the hell did you just do? Because I missed something here, and I've noticed on your videos, you're going through the whole process with it, so you're not leaving shit out. So for somebody that has never, wrapped a coil in their damn life, they could watch your video and say, hey, I can grasp that right there. So
thank you very much.
It's perfect, man.
Because I could edit down a 17-minute video to probably about 4 minutes if I just wanted to state bullet points and then show you step by step. But then you're right. That's all that stuff in between that I was like, well, how did you get from there to there? And it keeps doing this on me. And
exactly.
That's why I do it. And it's not for everybody. And I've started to edit a little bit more, just some of my videos to try and clean them up. But I also leave that in there for the experience. And thanks for noticing that, because it's intentional. It was the stuff that I was like, wait, if from point A to point C, I want to see B. I want to see the ugly mess that was between there. So thank you, Richard.
Definitely. That, like I said, some of these people, they just seem to forget, hey, you started somewhere too with this. And if you're not seeing it from A to Z, you're missing a few little pieces in there. You know, hey, I can wrap something, but then when I'm going to install it on the deck or whatever, and then bam, you know, nothing's going on. It's like they never build a faulty coil. It's like they do it perfect every single time, and they're just like, hey, I'm the god of doing it, and I make no mistakes. But that's not the truth to it. So you like to see trial and error with all this stuff, so you know where you're coming from with it. And you're right, it's not for some people. And if some people see where, or I guess what I'm trying to say is, if people see where there is error in this, but it can be overcome, some people might, you know what, I'm going to try it anyway. I'm going to keep pushing because everybody makes mistakes on this. But you know.
Absolutely, man. You get it. Yeah. And you know, it's a progression. Everything in life is a progression. So we didn't get good at the things we're good at now without practice. And you know, Canthol's cheap, cotton's cheap. You know, $8 for a roll of enough wire that you can experiment and screw up 90 times, and you still have more wire left. You can do it, and you won't screw up 90 times. You'll screw up 2 or 3, and the 4th time is going to be like, wow, damn, that's great.
Yep.
You know, I've got a little. There's a lot of smoker. I used to. Hey, I'm sure you still have friends that smoke. It's not like we all got together to hang out and smoke. Like, oh, let me get a hit on your Camel and see what that tastes like. But you knew your smoker friends, and whenever you went somewhere, we were huddled outside to where it was socially acceptable. But you know, my smoker friends that knew me from working with me or wherever I knew them from, they never knew me without a cigarette in my hand. So when I started vaping, I'd shoot out. That's how I started with YouTube also. I'd shoot out quick videos to my friends, almost taunting them because they were taunting me back. They were like, you know, why don't you go outside and have a real cigarette like a real man, stuff like that. And I would send them a short, I'd text them a 30-second me blowing clouds. And I forgot where I was going with that, but yeah, really non sequitur. Sorry. Yep, can't pick it up. Sorry, back to you, man.
Well, I tell you what's so funny about that. I think my biggest venture into doing videos was, at first I didn't realize how many videos were out there on YouTube about vaping. I'd seen, you know, videos on everything else, but did not realize the extent to this. So I started watching, and I'm looking at everything about these videos. I'm seeing how many people subscribe, you know, what kind of hits they're getting, and I guess I'm looking at a lot of the big name people out there that were doing it, and looking at their approach to it, and really listening to what they're doing. And a lot of them are damn good, and a lot of them are still down to earth. But then a lot of them, I think, just kind of went off the beaten path, and they're doing all this yelling, screaming, hooping and hollering shit. For some of them, it works. For some of them, I'm like, dude, it's just, it's your thing. You do whatever. But I said, I want to watch a video with somebody vaping. I want to know how they're feeling off, how they're enjoying this experience. If you just bought this product, I want to know what it's like to sit around your house just doing this right here. And what are you getting out of it, opposed to you breaking it down and telling me the metals that it's made out of, you know, all the measurements, because I can go to their site and get all the technical shit off of it I need. But I just I'm the down to earth, simple review type that, you know, give me the little simple things about what you like about it. And I said, I don't see a whole lot of that. I'm certain it's out there. So I said, you know what? I'm going to start doing that because I am so passionate about this. And people that smoke, I think there's so many of them that think this is a joke, that, oh, this can't work for me. I can never quit cigarettes. And I'm like, that's just not true. For 27 years of doing it, and I dropped it in a day and never picked one up since, it can be done. Of course, it takes a little willpower too, but I mean, it can be done. And the willpower I had to use was not as hard as what I thought it was going to be, because, hey, if I felt something coming on, I'd grab the pen real quick. I started off with 24 milligrams of nic, so, and I think most people do, or a higher range. So I was damn near getting my fix, if not a hell of a lot more than what I could even get off a cigarette in the first place. But I think the common error with all this is, and the people that state this, it's very true. If you try to get off cigarettes, go to vaping, and you try to get some replicated to tobacco tasting cigarette, you're going to fail. I got a feeling for some reason you're going to fail. You got to go, to me, with some type of flavor. And what I jumped right into was the coffee flavor. Man, and did that shit forever. I've got a damn flavor named after me at the vape shop that is a badass coffee flavor. And like I said, but now I can't stand it. Now I'm into the fruit stuff. Been doing that for a good while, so.
Yeah. Like there's a certain amount of relatability that a smoker needs to be able to take a half step from here, this is what I know, and this is what I am comfortable with, and this is what's my habit, to they can't make an extraordinarily large jump from here to dripping. Like I saw this in the shop, and I saw the guy showed me his thing, and he was trying to impress me, and he took the cap off, and he was like, "Look at my build," and he did that, and I was like, I'm about to walk out of here because you're crazy. You're going to blow yourself up. I didn't understand it. And not only that, coming from a cigarette that is just that so easy, I didn't want to see anything. And there was a whole part of the store I was like, don't show me any of that craziness. Just bring me over here, something relatable. So the EVOD was not a great device, but it was what I could understand. So there's that half step in between that smokers got to go through. And with flavors, like you mentioned, I thought I wanted a tobacco flavor, so I was like, okay. And the funny thing is, I didn't like it, but I was like, well, I didn't like the cigarettes either, so I'll deal with it. It's like when you bought a pack of, you couldn't get your brand, so you bought another brand of cigarettes. Well, you smoked the whole pack, even though you hated it. You smoked every single one, and that's how smokers treat juice. Like, and I watch them in the stores. Like, I think they got to try a tobacco just to get it out of their system. Then they got to try a fruit. Then they got to try a custard. Then they got to try a good dessert. And then, somewhere in there, they're never gonna. In those first couple of days, when your palate is still dead, it's real hard to find those flavors that are just going to be a stepping stone for you. But yeah, coffee is one. Coffee is a good one. A tobacco like a Space Jam Eclipse it's very bold, and you can taste that. That's one that I recommend to smokers, that they get something that's Anti-Lock from Reserved is just a really bold fruit, like fruit punch, and even if you don't like it, you can handle it, and it's so vastly different from smoking. I find a lot of smokers will vape through a bottle of that, and by the time that takes them about a week to 10 days, then their sense of smell and taste is woken up a little bit, and they can try other things. But
well, another thing too, just like you were stating, and I feel the same way about it. You can't walk into a vape shop, and I know the one that we have is real good, great people down there, and they're not going to steer you wrong. But if you were to walk into maybe some certain shop that somebody's just trying to make a buck off of you, and if y'all are listening out there, you can't do that. You can't walk in there and buy this off the shelf the very first thing you get, because it will be a paperweight at your house. You got to do baby steps on this stuff. And like I said, this little spinner tube with a pro tank tube, I mean, this, as small as this crap is right here, I cannot believe as long as I went on this and enjoyed this. It was doing it, and I was getting a lot more off of this than I was getting off a damn cigarette. But flavor-wise, like I said, doing the coffee forever, man, I mean, you're talking, it's been since January since I just switched over doing the fruit stuff. So, man, you're talking well over a year into the coffee. Now I did my coffee in different ways to kind of jazz it up a little bit, but all in all, but I love coffee too. I mean, I drink coffee like it's going out of style, so it was perfect. But what I got in, I was thinking the fruits are going to be too much. I'm not going to enjoy things with fruit, and well, I was proven wrong on that because when I got a hold of it, I'm like, hell yeah. So.
I go in cycles. I'll do like custards for a while, and then I start getting tired of them. I stop tasting all the things I loved in them. It's palate fatigue. You get if you ate your favorite filet mignon every day, you get tired of that after a while too. It's just human nature. It's part of how we're wired. I think the brain, as a caveman, if you only ate like venison, then sooner or later you run out of food, and your brain wants to make sure you go find other sources of food before you starve to death. Maybe it's like a caveman type of thing. But so I go in cycles. I'll do custards. I'll do desserts. Then I have to lay off of those, and I go to the fruits, and then like 6 weeks later I'll be back on the custard. So, and in any given day, I like to vary it up so that I mix it up and confuse the brain a little bit.
Oh yeah, definitely. Well, I tell you what I'm trying to think of how long ago it was. I probably have to actually look at one back of my videos to even see it, but I happened to run across a review, and I think there's only 2 out there on this company. It's called No Leaf Vapor. And the guy was saying, man, great juice. He said, you know, you'll definitely try it. So I go on their site, looking around. They got some pretty interesting juices on there. But shit, man, I'm getting it's standard, nothing jazzy about it. Let me get and that one right there is my serial killer.
Nice.
I'm getting 100 ml bottles sent to the house for $22.
You can't beat that.
And this shit is like premium. It's not like some little shit you're buying, in the little basket where they're trying to get rid of stuff. This is good shit. So now I've got a ton of these 100 ml bottles of all different flavors sitting here. So I love ordering from them. So
that's great. I mean, hey, listen, there's a place in every bar and every liquor store. I'm just going to use liquor as this, and because it's a connoisseur's thing. There's top shelf, and then there's the regular stuff. And you can't drink top shelf stuff all the time. Well, I guess you can, but there's no even Scottish people that I know that drink whiskey every day of their life. They don't sip on single malt like 18-year age. They'll sip on stuff that costs $12 for a big liter of it, and that's their regular stuff. Exactly. But then every once in a while they'll sip on the premium stuff, and with wine drinkers as well. Because if you drink $100 bottles of wine every day, then that would grow. You'd grow accustomed to that, and it would hold nothing special. So you drink $10 bottles of wine for the most part, and then every once in a while you try a $50 or $100 as a treat. And that's how I treat vape juice. I get stuff like, what do I have here? And I'm going to have to try that No Leaf Vapor, but like White Label has a couple of really good custards. They have a straight up vanilla custard, and they have a strawberry and cream. And it's affordable. It's like $30 or $40 for 120 mil. Another one I want to mention is Muffin Man, and
heard about that one.
Man. It's a great value for 60 or 65 bucks. You get 180 mils, and it's delicious. That's one hit wonder, and I'm vaping on it.
Let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
On the I've been seeing a lot, and I almost ordered some the other day from I think Element Vape has got the Milkman, one that comes in the little carton and all that.
Yep.
I think they have a 30 ml bottle for like $16 or something like that. I've been seeing a lot of videos on it. Of course, it kind of sucks that I'm not sitting here to actually taste it, but they say it's pretty good stuff. So
I think they only sell it in 180 mil big bottles in that canister, and it comes with 2 little unicorn bottles. I'm looking here if I have. I know I have it somewhere around. I was vaping on it this morning, but it's good. Milkman is strawberries and cream, and it's just phenomenal. It's so yummy. I'll vape on that for 3 or 4 days straight, and then I have to put it aside because I don't want to get sick of it, and then I'll come back to it a few days later. But I'm still on the same 180 mils I bought a month ago, and I'm about 3/4 of the way through it. But it's great stuff. That's Milkman from them, and Muffin Man is like apple cinnamon cake. It's awesome. So if that's a flavor profile that you're into, yeah, and it's out on Facebook and in all the groups, and there's a reason for it. It's very good. It's not just hype. It's worth it. They sell it, and what's funny is they sell it at the local vape shop for the same price, $65, as you can get it online. So I guess the markup on that comes from wholesale when they buy it, but at the vape shop they get a lower price to purchase it. But it seems like they have a pretty much flat $65 suggested retail price everywhere.
Gotcha. I'll tell you one that I just picked up on. Are you into the Cosmic Fog at all?
Oh yeah, sure.
Now, I don't know if I did a video, but this right here.
That's their new one, right?
Yes, and yeah. I'm getting online. I can't even find it. And even on their site, they're just stating, "Hey, it's coming." My shop happened to have some, and he was trying to tell me how this was going to work. You know, they're just going to do like this flavor for the first 2 months. They're going to do another flavor for about a 2-month run, and they're only going to do 6 flavors total. But when I got the Mad Hatter going, I tried some in it because I wanted to get something fresh going since I had a fresh build on it. Tried it, and I was like, oh, shit, yeah, give me a bottle of it. So, and while I was in the store, there were like 3 other people that seen what I was doing. I said, well, let me try it real quick. Tried it. They were buying, it was coming off the shelf then. So,
what's the flavor profile on that one? Is that a cereal?
No, it is a, now this is where it's funny. They state it's supposed to be a mango flavor, and it's kind of like a orange and cream. But if you look it up online, and somehow in their store they have, you can look up the profiles to this where I don't guess the other people had the access to do it. They're stating it's like a strawberry yogurt, and I don't pick that up at all. So I don't know what the hell it is, or whatever it is, it's good. So if you see it in the store, are you like at a 3, Nick?
Yeah.
Or, dude, definitely try a bottle. For dripping wise, I mean, it's great stuff. If I had the money, I'd probably be running this in some of my tanks too. But what I'm scared is I'm gonna get hooked, and it's like $22 for a 30 mil. So I'm like, nope.
Yeah. Yeah, no, there's a couple of flavors from Cosmic Fog that I really like. And I actually tried, I was up in Pittsburgh and Cosmic Fog was there, like the whole crew, and they had a whole big booth and they were throwing away free stuff. And I did try that, but it was like, I tried 100 other juices that day also. So I was just like, yeah, it's really good. I have no idea what the fuck it tastes like, but yeah, it's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, it is a top shelf premium line, so it's going to run you a good bit of coin. So that's one of those ones that I'd love for it to be an all day vape, but it's more one of those little sipping ones that I'll have as a treat.
Exactly.
And then go to the value of
yes,
the big
sir.
120s. You're not into custards at all, but if the day ever comes around that you are, that's Epicus Nebula. This is like the best custard I've ever had.
I'm going to have to try that.
That's
now, I'm going to tell you what, I've actually got one of my flavors was a strawberry and custard. So it was kind of a replication of maybe like a strawberry ice cream or kind of a milkshake type thing. Now, it was good. It was a little potent, but it was good. But now, one flavor I do have that, now this is pretty much my all. Let me try to get my. So that is Mother's Milk, their version. Yep. And all that is strawberries and cream. And that's what I'm running on this one right here.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's good stuff. And on nickel, it has got a distinctive taste on nickel over Canthal. And you need to try it like that, because I'm finding that flavors are really starting to change between the nickel and the Canthal. Some people say, well, on nickel, it seems to mute the flavor. I'm actually starting to pick apart things within the flavor on the nickel that I can't really do on Canthal. It's kind of like I get that big rush. With this, it's kind of like being able to break things down a little bit, which it's not always good, but on this flavor, it's awesome.
There's like anywhere from 4 to 40 different flavors in any given juice that's why steeping helps it taste better, because they blend. But there's a lot that goes into juices, that a couple of them may be the dominant flavor, and that's when you're dripping or doing high wattage and Canthal. But I think I know what you mean, because like the nickel seems to pull them all apart so I can taste them individually, and that's nice. It's like, oh, that's like buying a car, and there's a feature in the car that you never knew about, and a year later you discover, hey, I got a like cool surprise, a utility and a function that I never knew was there. So.
Exactly. One other thing that blows my mind, and let me set it up on this one. By the way, do you have any of the are you into the DNAs at all, like on a Vapor Shark or anything like that?
I don't have a Hana. I don't have a Vapor Shark. When I started vaping, they were out and they were in the stores, and they cost upwards of $250 or more, and it held no interest to me. And I asked the guys at the shop, am I going to get is it that much of a better vape on those? And they started to talk about the no dry hits and the nickel, and I was like, never mind. I'm not going to go there. So now that these devices are coming out, and you can pick up a temperature control for $100, like Powerful is the 165 watt. I think you have this one, right?
There it is, right there.
There it is. Yeah, great value. So yeah, hey, listen, and I also didn't like why would I buy something that's only 40 watts or 30 watts that isn't, I got 150 watts over here on an IPV or Sigali. Why would I go to that? And it's that connoisseur's vape that I didn't have, that I didn't want, that I didn't feel like going there. But now that they're affordable, I mean, geez, for 50, 60, 80 bucks, you can get, what's that one? The Smoke X Pro M80, the 80 watt with temperature control, and it's like 65, 70 bucks.
But let me tell you something about that real quick. Actually, I got a shop I can get it off of for $49 all day long. The only bad thing about it is I almost purchased that, but I started doing my homework. They say temperature control is just a gimmick on that. Okay. They say it goes up to 900 degrees on there. That you're not supposed to be doing things at 900 degrees.
No, you're not. No, not even 600.
No. So it's kind of like, and there was a lot of glitches in the board on that. It's some little cheap China board in it, but so I steered clear of it. Now I've heard some people swear by them, but my little one story to this, what pissed me off so bad, and I love my Vapor Shark. It's a great little thing to go out with and get great battery life on it. I bought this, man, I've been waiting to get one of these too. I bought the son of a bitch at Memorial Day, and then freaking 3 weeks later, they unveil, they're going to do a vapor flask, and they drop this son of a bitch to 130 bucks.
Yeah.
So now you can buy the RDNAs cheap as hell, and I paid almost full price on mine. I was like, shit. So.
That sucks. Yeah. Yeah, that sucks. But hey, you have it, and it was worth it. And at the time, you perceived that to be a good value, and you love vaping on it. So sometimes I've done that.
Oh, I'm sorry. The thing about the Shark, though, it only does 40 watts. But on a device like this, with certain things you do, 40 watts is all you need for it. And I have to tell people that at times, because they're like, well, hey, because I know it too. I know what the high wattage will do, but there's a certain way that this thing hits. There's no lag. It ramps exactly where it needs to be at. And, a lot of devices will that are cheaper, but something about it just, you feel like you're getting that big massive wattage hit off of it at lower wattages.
That's a really good point. And also power usage. Like, does that use that internally charges, or it has a battery? Like
it's got an 18650.
How long do you get vaping on that steadily with one 18650?
I can probably go a day and a half easy.
Yeah. It's interesting about that. And I've been paying attention to, like, I'm getting a really good vape on this, and it's only at like 2.6 volts. It's like it's barely even drawing power off that battery, but I'm getting a good vape. So that's something to consider. You know, buying batteries every 3 months isn't cheap either. So with these devices, they draw so little power, and you get that good vape and the flavor. And I'm trying really hard to like temperature control and find its merits, and that would definitely be one of them.
I'll tell you another good purchase I made. I never thought I'd get one of these little.
Froze up there a second. Is that the IPv3?
But I bought the little Pro, the 60 watt.
Oh, okay.
Oh, you still there?
I'm here.
Okay, I think we had a lag for a second. But man, this little thing right here, it runs its butt off. So, you know.
Which device is that?
This is the MVP Pro 60 watt.
Oh, okay. Oh, that just came out. Wow.
Yeah. So this one came in a kit with I'm looking real quick. Oh, this one came with a kit with that little sub-G tank.
Okay. How's that?
I'm not too happy with that one. It sounds like a freight train when you're hitting off of it. It's loud as hell.
Did you ever have an Innokin iTaste MVP 2.0, the 11 watt box?
No. My first. Go ahead.
And that was good, but the tank it came with was just such an awful festering turd. So I put the tank aside and got like a different tank for it. But I think Innokin does really, really good box mods for what they are, for the power and the safety and, you know, their quality.
Oh, they're built like a tank, man. I mean, you could bash somebody's head in real easy with this. So, my first Innokin product was the SVD. So, and like I said, it's been a good one. So,
I thought they were out of the race for a while because everybody started coming out with all these higher power, higher wattage devices that were not that expensive, and then it's nice to see them back in the race, very well, very strong. And hey, listen, most people don't vape like I do. The majority, the bell curve of people vaping are using that guy right there, the Kanger Sub-Tank Mini, or or the Atlantis. And so I have to remember what I like is the minority of what vaping enthusiasts are doing. But you get a great vape. I've helped more smokers quit smoking with that tank right there. Yep. Kanger Sub-Tank Mini, and it's so awesome. And then there's a next step for them when they want to get into rebuilding. But you get a great vape off that tank.
Well, you know, another good one that Kanger did, and actually I started, was the Nano. And that was the smaller version, you know, of this one. The only thing that was sucked on this one, it's got a 3 mil tank, and it's like if you take one draw, the juice just goes whoop. So,
yeah.
But with the chimney being shorter to it, the flavor is, it's surprising to say, you can probably get the best flavor off the Nano of any of them, but you just can't get the juice capacity. And the airflow on it is just a little bit more restricted because it's just a smaller setup to it. So it feels like you're having to pull a little bit more on it, but opposed to something like, of course, I got them all day. I got this Delta 2. Now, with it wide open, I mean, it just, you kind of take it in. But, and when I got this tank was the shit. But now it's kind of like it barely gets used anymore. So,
I have one around somewhere. I don't even know where I put it, but you're right. It was the shit when it came out. It was like, wow. Because it came out maybe around January, I think I first started seeing it, and that's when Kanger and that's when the Sub-Tank and the Atlantis were having those were the two. And then the Delta 2 came out, and it was like, oh, I can rock this at 60 watts. You can't do that on the Sub-Tank or the Atlantis. But now I don't even know where it is in my household. But I really like the way Joytech has come back in the market also. That Ego 1, that's a great setup for a beginner. I haven't messed around with the EVIC, but it looks sexy, that thing.
It's cool looking, but like I said, I keep up with so much of this. I hear the temperature control on that one is just a hair bit glitchy a little bit right now, but they're new in the game like everybody, so I think it's going to take everybody to get it down. But I think these are the two top contenders, the Yeehee and the DNA, Evolve. So Yeehee and DNA, they're the top. I think that's where the standard is set at temp control right now.
So the Yeehee is the chip that's in the IPv3. Okay.
Yes.
And the DNA is the chip that's in the Vapor Shark.
Yes.
Okay. And it's the chip that controls and regulates that vape, that power, by the temperature that you want to get to.
Yes, sir. And the thing about it is, I think a lot of people get misconstrued on some of this stuff. If there's something that goes wrong with these, well, Vapor Shark's a piece of shit. Well, that's not the case. Vapor Shark builds the chassis. Evolve builds the board that goes in it. So they work together. So if you're having electronical issues, blame Evolve. If you've got fit and finish somewhere that something's messed up, hey, blame Vapor Shark. There's two people involved, not just one. So,
gotcha.
And same deal on this right here. It's Pioneer for You has built the case, but Yeehee has got the chip that's running in it, so they work together on it. But they're the two top dogs out there. So if you see like the SX Mini and all those, that runs the Yeehee in it. And it's a better version of what we have. They've got the 350J in there, where we have the 330. But
it's also like $250, give or take.
Exactly. So, exactly. But I'll tell you what I want to get my hands on is the new DNA 200. Did you see Mike? Do you ever watch Mike Vapes videos?
Yes. Yes.
Did you see the Opus he did with the DNA 200? It was just a few videos back.
No, I haven't seen that yet. I'm gonna have to go watch that.
Holy shit! Now that is a bad. Now if you're into, well, you ain't even got to be into temp control stuff. I mean, it'll crank out 200 watts on a regular build. So,
is that the one in the? Is that the Snow Wolf?
No, but the Snow Wolf will do 200. To be honest, I don't know what board is in the Snow Wolf. They're their kind of own builder of everything to it. But I hear a lot of praises about
that. I'm sorry?
I said I hear a lot of praises about the Snow Wolf, though.
Yeah, yeah. And it's pretty affordable at $150 retail, and you can get it for less online. That's a nice looking box, too, with that stainless steel.
Yeah. Oh, what it is, basically, it's an iPhone, a big-ass heavy iPhone.
Very cool. So, what's your favorite thing going on right now in vaping? Like, what do you think is the most exciting thing you've seen recently in vaping evolution? Tough question. Is it temperature control? Is it the sub-ohm tanks? Is it juice innovations?
Mine would be a mixture of doing temp control with sub-ohm tanks. And I think what I've had to explain to people before is that it's not the tank itself that's built around temp control. It's the coil that's sitting in it is what's built for it. So you see all these manufacturers now making these tanks, and they make it sound like, oh, you can only do temperature control on this tank or what the hell ever. It's not the case. It's just I think they're trying to market it like that because they'll have the nickel coils for it. I've also noticed that titanium is really getting big in the game now. Now, if you were to ask me the question, what scares me the most in vaping, I don't know much about titanium. Even though I work with titanium, I don't know what it is like to vape off of it. And by the way, I think I left that portion of my video out. What I do for a living, I am a technician. I work for a big company that does implants. So we do hip and knee. And no, we're not on TV with lawsuits, not yet anyway, but because you see them all the time. But we do raw material up till finished product. And a lot of what's built into the hip is titanium and cobalt chrome parts. So like I said, I understand what titanium is. It's a very light, strong metal. But as a vaping on it, I don't really know much about it. And what I understand to it, it's kind of like nickel. If you start exceeding that temperature on it, it's going to put off some gases that you might not want introduced into your body. So
I'm really glad you brought that up because it's important for people to know. When I started playing around with all this nickel coil stuff, and I haven't even tried titanium yet, and then even before temperature control, there's all this high performance wire, this low resistance wire like Anarchist and Samurai Blade and G-Plat, and you know, I come across it, I build with it, I use it. It's, what is this stuff really made of? What is going on here? I don't know, and most people don't. And then you get on like Reddit and you get on some different websites and you start reading, and then there's the shock value of, oh, yeah, stay away from that. We don't know what any of this stuff does. But one thing that's really important, it's a mistake I made. I built with nickel wire. I had a 0.15 build, and I vaped that on like regular, not temperature control, and I got a headache. And I'm glad that's the worst. And I was like, it wasn't instantaneous like I did the, you know, action and reaction. It was a little bit later, within a half an hour, I had a bad headache, and I was like, I wonder if it had anything to do. And then I started, like, you know, I did an ignorant thing. I did something. I leaped before I looked, and then I started checking out. Oh, you can't do that. So I make sure in my videos now, and whenever I talk about nickel, don't dare use that stuff without temperature control. We don't know what the temperature really is. I've read a lot of different things. It's 600. Is it 800? Is it 400? Don't know. But the main thing is there is a danger there. There is a risk. So, you know, without temperature control, you're absolutely risking yourself of you know, coming around harmful toxins.
exactly, and that.
And who knows if at lower temperatures it's safe. What really is safe? Does the FDA define safe, or do I even want to be safer than that? And then the end of the story is, well, smoking was never safe to begin with, so all of this shit can't be any worse than that. But you know, if I got to make a switch and I'm trying to be healthier, you know, how far to that extreme do I want to go? Uh-oh, you still there? It's funny because you got this "you're about to talk" look on your face, and then the screen froze, so I got Scott there in mid saying something. I don't know if I'm cut off or still on, but can't hear you,
I think
buddy.
you can agree with something.
Oh, there you are.
Okay, there we go. My testimony to all this would have to be.
Uh-oh, froze up again.
We're there?
Yeah, I'm here, man.
Okay, I'm sorry. I don't know what's going on. Let me get this out real quick. My thing would have to be is that for as long as I smoked, I know what my body feels like now compared to then. Now, of course, I'm what? I know what. We must be hitting a lag here.
Yeah, a little bit of a lag.
Okay, there we go. But yeah, that's what I try to explain to people. Between smoking and vaping, you'll pick the difference up quick in your body.
No doubt about it. I'm so much healthier now. My lung capacity, I don't get winded. So it's night and day.
Oh, hey, what's funny about that is you say the lung capacity. If I was to try to hit off something like this when I first was trying to get off cigarettes, I had no lung capacity to do what I can do now.
Yeah.
So they're definitely healed up somewhat.
Absolutely. And the good news is that the lungs do heal over time. Maybe not 100%, but the body starts a healing process.
Oh, yeah.
Up the water, take your vitamins, antioxidants, more fruits and vegetables, give your body the tools it needs to regenerate, but it heals.
Oh, definitely, definitely. Well, what is your biggest thing that you're probably into with everything that's in the vape world now? I know what you're going to say, too, I think.
I'm just excited about the high quality and affordability of products out now that you can get. I mean, it almost feels like we're overloaded and swarmed with different choices to make, but that's a good thing because there's, for under $100, you can get, there's so much of a wide variety now of great things, even things that were 150, 160 bucks when they first came out, like the IPv3 original one and the Sigali 150. You know, the prices have come down on some things that are just so reliable, and also looking up. All right, aside from me personally, I'm really excited about the quality of a starter kit for somebody to buy. That's maybe the next step up, or if they want to jump that hurdle and not start with an EVOD, something that's not too scary but high quality, like the Ego one or the EVIC or the iStick 30 watt and the Kanger Mini, the Subtank Mini, $80, $90, and with juice, and that's yeah, right there. Or the Atlantis, yeah. I'm so excited about the fact that a smoker for less than $100, because that's what it would cost for a carton of cigarettes around here. That's how they equate. Can get a vape that's going to say, oh, this is not a Logic, this is not a gas station garbage, and that's exciting to me.
Let me ask you something. When you got out of smoking, I know New York is probably a lot higher on what I'm having to pay on stuff. What was a pack of cigarettes costing you when you got out of it?
$10, $9.80 or something like that. It would be a $10 bill, and I would get some change and throw that in like the donation jar or something. But it was, you weren't buying a pack of cigarettes that was a premium brand. Premium brand. I smoked Marlboro Special Blend Reds, and it was $10 a pack. And then I would get all happy if I went up to Pennsylvania and I got them for like $6 a pack. So I'd stock up a couple of cartons. But yeah, it was. So we're talking $400 to $450 a month was my smoking budget. So I had some budget to spend on vaping stuff.
Oh, exactly.
And I never begrudged the store for making a little bit of profit, because I'd say, well, the difference between this and that is one pack of cigarettes. What's the difference? It would have been ashes in my lungs anyway in a day. So yeah. $100, you know, nobody can tell me. They try all the time, but people like, I can't afford to vape. Well, okay, well, you're smoking, so you can't use that logic.
Exactly. Because you know what I'll do? I think my wife at first was probably getting a little upset with it, but over time, I don't think she really cared. She's just happy I don't smoke. But I guess, you know, doing this right here, this was so cheap because juice was lasting me forever, because in a 1.5 mil tank, which is nothing, juice will last you forever pretty much. The battery on one of these, I could get easy 7-8 months out of before it would start crapping out. A battery runs you about $35. So I was doing good, but then I messed up, stepped up a little bit, and then started seeing all this stuff out there, and I was like, oh, crap. But it's right. For what I can buy, a tank would be a couple of packs of cigarettes, and that's it. And, you know, tank will last me a long ass time. So, but it is true now. Down here in Tennessee, and I even thought this was high. Cigarettes, when I got off of them, were running just a little over $5 a pack. So I wasn't paying what you were paying, but still, when I started smoking, I mean, I was getting cigarettes for like $1 or maybe a little over $1 or something. So,
yep. And then, you know, time value of money. It's not, hey, listen, I was 27. Actually, you've been vaping for a couple of years, so that was close to 30 years ago. So $1 30 years ago meant more than $1 today. So I calculated it out that with inflation and everything, I spent over $100,000 on cigarettes.
oh yeah,
In my smoking habit. That's a lot of money. That's
hell yeah, it is.
That's a house in some parts of the world. That's a not up here, but but in Tennessee, you can buy a house for $100 grand.
Oh yeah, definitely. But hey, the funny thing about that is, you spend all that money for ultimately just putting you in the ground quicker.
Yeah.
Well, that's not funny, but you're just contributing to the quicker death of you, pretty much, is all you're doing. And hey, I watched my old man die of this. He smoked for 40-something years, and while he laid in a hospital bed with hours left to live, here I am running down to the lobby every couple of seconds, getting me a damn cigarette in. And it's like, what the hell are you doing? But, you know, people don't understand, because my kids always used to be like, you know, Dad, will you please quit smoking? At that point in time, it's like, you don't understand the addiction. It's worse than a drug. I mean, it is a drug, but it's, man, it takes control of you. And I think that's why I'm so passionate about doing this, because I never thought there was anything in this world that would get me off the cigarettes. And, you know, like I said, now who's to say couple more years they find there's been some shit in here that just ultimately takes us out. But I think I've said it in past, you know, nothing's guaranteed in life. Anything can happen. So, but I know how I feel off of this compared to the way I fell off cigarettes. So
even if that turns out to be the case, I'm having a heck of a lot more fun vaping, and it's a heck of a lot more enjoyable, and I'm meeting a heck of a lot nicer people since I quit smoking and started vaping. And
definitely. I mean, it's kind of funny too. I was talking to my wife the other day. I says, baby, I think I might be having a little bit of a midlife crisis here. She says, well, why do you say that? And I said, I'm really enjoying going to the vape shops, hanging out, and everybody there is a hell of a lot younger than me, but I'm connected with these people because we got this in common. But they're all cool as hell. They love to hang out. They don't care how old you are or whatever, you know. But it's, she's like, no, I think if you were doing something else, you might be having that. But you know, you're enjoying the company you're hanging out with, and it is. Everybody, it doesn't matter how old you are. It's like having this right here puts you in a group of people that you can be the biggest asshole in the world. But say I just met you, we got this in common. There's things we want to ask each other about stuff like this, so we're courteous to one another, you know, and it turns into a whole other spectrum of things.
Yeah, I have noticed that, and it's fascinating to me. Yeah,
it is. And like I said, it's turned into a full-blown hobby with me now. I enjoy doing the videos. And another thing I was trying to say about the videos, you know, the approach I was taking with it was to do, you know, more of a simple thing. But a lot of it, too, was to really stress to people that this is about the best alternative out there to quit smoking right here. It's not gums, Chantix, that you want to kill yourself, anything like that. I think this, and being open-minded just a little bit to it and not being scared of it, because I was a little nervous going into a shop thinking this is not going to work, this is not going to be the thing, I'm fixing to drop some money off. But damn, it did it. And I'm getting long-winded here. My other little short story to this is, and I think it's educational. Back in 2010, I bought one of the first Blue Sig starter packs. So it came with the little plastic box, the few cartomizers, all that shit. And I was thinking, okay, I'm going to make a run at this. I'm going to quit smoking. I started doing it. It tasted like shit. I basically had cut my cigarette consumption down. But, you know, I was thinking, okay, well, I've done good. I've only smoked 2 cigarettes today, and I've been, you know, doing this a little bit more. After about 3 months, I got sick as hell. Wasn't from that, but just got a real bad, deep, like bronchitis and all that shit. Soon as I got better, the first thing I wanted was a cigarette. Started smoking, never messed with it again. It sits in my garage to this day, covered in dust, and just, I'm surprised I ain't thrown the damn thing away. But something I've stressed to people is don't buy cheap shit. Even if you're buying a starter kit, buy a little upper end starter kit, or you're not going to get the pleasure out of it. You're not going to get the full effect of what it'll do. You're going to get a big headache and say, the hell with this, cigarettes are easy. So that was my long preaching thing.
That was awesome. And you know, I've had a lot of friends that thought they tried vaping, but they really didn't. They tried those things in their lower end. And I believe, listen, we all know that those companies are all owned. Each individual company that puts out a Logic or a Blue, they're owned by the tobacco companies. It's a product that's a joke. It's designed to fail. It's designed to make you think you tried an alternative and then run right back into the arms of your beloved cigarettes. So every time anybody buys one of those, they just chuckle. It's got to be the biggest joke in marketing history. And then you think you've explored the whole range of vaping. Those guys are crazy with those big mods, and I already tried that, and they're over on the fringe of insanity. So they think they've already explored it, and then it may take a year or two, because we all tried those things in the gas station when they first started popping up, and they were all festering little turds and didn't work. But I hear what you're saying is maybe that would convince somebody not to go and try something better that might work, and then they're going to go smoke for a few more years or forever. Exactly. Great points, man. Hey, we're just over the hour mark over here. I don't know if you wanted to keep going or wrap up, but I gotta find a way to plug my laptop in the batteries. I'm not near an outlet, but if you wanna, why don't we do this? We had a great chat. I'd love to do this on a regular basis with you, if that's okay.
Yes, sir.
And we'll get better at this Hangouts thing. I'm sure there's a way to figure out if people are trying to get into this chat we're having.
Now, I was looking at the bottom of my screen, and I've noticed we've had a viewer or two popping in and out, but I mean, I don't know where the option I'm not knowing to this. Let me ask you this real quick. When you did your video the other day on the coil build, and you were talking, I think, with some guy named Ryan.
There was Nick, and then there was Bill.
Okay, Nick. Now, was this the same thing, like we're seeing one another kind of bouncing back and forth, and that was it?
What happened was, you know how you sent me an invite?
Yes.
I sent him an invite. Now, I don't know how did you go about sending me that invite? Did you?
What I do, right before I went, hold on, I'm looking at I have got, at the very top of my screen, I've got a little toolbar. And there is where I can put my cursor on, it'll ask me to invite people.
Okay, so that little guy, the picture of a person with a plus next to it.
Exactly.
So you invite people, and then so you have to know who's out there that you want to invite.
Exactly.
What's interesting, after I got off of that coil build workshop, and by the way I recorded that, you see how my face is down at the bottom of your screen?
Yep.
It didn't record those guys. There were, on my thing, it only recorded my face, but there were actually 2 guys down there, and I would have loved to have that on my video so people didn't think it was just me over there talking to myself. But all right, so that's one way of doing it. Then when I got off of that Hangout, a bunch of people, like I went back to my Google Plus, and there were comments on the video, like in YouTube, there were comments, like people trying to, like you had made a comment, and I don't know where you were looking that you made that comment, like live while it was going on. Was that in Google Plus? What was your experience at that time?
When I was trying to access you, which is funny, I clicked on, like, I went to your page. It showed that you had a live video going. So when I clicked on it, it brought it up to basically the screen I'm looking at. But off to the right of my screen, I had a section where I could comment. And I kept saying, add me, add me. And I was like, well, I don't know if he's seeing this on his screen or not.
I didn't. And then there were a couple of people wanted to get added, and I would have loved to have them on. So I want to ask you to do something right now that's an experiment.
Okay.
Do you have a browser open with your Google Plus?
Hold on. I think I do but I've made my screen wider. There we go. My screen's a little, so I'm going to drop it down. Okay. What do you want me to?
I want you to go to that, like either your profile or the screen that you had open that with your, not the Hangout we're in, but the other tab where you have Google Plus open, your profile, and then refresh that and see there may be those viewers that you see down at the bottom of the screen that shows you there's viewers. They may be in there trying to contact. Now, if you could go check that real quick.
Okay, hold on one sec.
Sure.
See, because you know how I go into mine? I go into mine through YouTube, but I'm not using Google Plus to go through it.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Now, do you know how to do that?
Yeah. Yes, on the left-hand side, and you do like a live thing.
Yeah, you'll go to your channel. You'll bring
that launches the Hangout also.
Yeah, that's how I launched this broadcast off. So I didn't actually go into my Google. I don't have anything Google opened up other than the screen that we're on now talking to one another.
Okay, so that may be something that we want to do to add people, because it was when I did my build video, it was me and this gentleman Nick out in Tulsa, Oklahoma, and then what I did for him to get into that was I started the Hangout, and I was on a couple of minutes early, and then I just went up to the browser and I copied that URL, and then I went into my Google Plus where it said, Quest4vape is having a live Hangout, and I commented in there, and I pasted the link, and then he clicked on that and he was in, just like you and I are. And then this other fellow, Bill, he must have seen me on Google Plus that I was having a Hangout, and he clicked on that link and he got in. So I want to just make sure, like, the next time we do this, that I can put it out there and also have a way for people to add themselves in automatically. Because, like, we're talking and we're getting carried away, and you're thinking about what you're going to say, and so am I. And then, like, I'm not checking to see is there anybody else over there trying to get in, because it doesn't come up in the group chat because they're not in the group.
Well, I'll tell you what we ought to do.
Listen to us, two old guys. They call us OG, by the way. Two old guys trying to figure out the interwebs over here.
Well, I'll tell you what we ought to try then. Why don't on the next go-round, so let's say we set this up again for next week, because I work third shift, I mean, these times are perfect for me. I don't have anything going on. Unless, I know you said you've got something going on for the weekend. My weekends are pretty flexible. I think we ought to try at least one time, and it maybe just to kind of get some other people involved, which would be awesome. We ought to really try maybe a Saturday night event at some point in time.
Okay.
Where you got more people out there that, I mean, I think a lot of people are probably at work, like, on a time that we're on right now, but
if need be, I can use my mobile phone. I can use my cell phone as a hotspot, and I can do this anywhere. So this weekend I'm going to be camping with the family, but I think that would be pretty cool. As long as there's Wi-Fi or some kind of like satellite reception, I might be sitting in the woods. But
well, I mean, and I'm not necessarily saying this Saturday, because I understand what it is for family time, and you might not. But like I'm just stating, maybe like one Saturday when you're free up on the evening, that But because the more the merrier, of course.
It's the kind of thing, if we do it on a regular basis at a set time, a set day, then I think it'll grow organically. But I had a lot of fun doing this. My battery's down to 4%, so my laptop's going to quit on me any second now. So I'm going to sign off if that's all right with you, Scott. Don't be upset.
No, we're good. We're good. And like I said, we're communicating through text too, so we'll get it all set up.
All right, awesome. Hey, thanks for doing this. And then, hey, when you get that video on your channel, I'll make sure to go ahead and add that to one of my playlists, okay?
Definitely.
And we'll do it kind of like that. All right. Hey, great talking with you, Scott. Have a great day, man.
You do the same, man.